locked. Damn. Some kind of metal workshop, with a few men working on what looks like construction materials. The room's a dead end, so I'll avoid it. All right, it's loose now.
Six new members over the last month. The Bacarbo parish is also doing better now.
They managed to resolve their financial difficulties?
Oh yes, Elsa is doing great work there. Sending her on our behalf was the right call. That brings us to the subject of these horrid murders.
Vile acts, for certain. I pray that the church will stay clear of any blame.
Why shouldn't it? We had nothing to do with those atrocities.
I know that, old friend. But surely our enemies will not ignore an opportunity like this.
I suppose so. Our violent past coming back to haunt us.
Sadly, the fact that one of our people was victimized will inevitably draw eyes upon the church.
Yes, maybe it's in our best interest to invite the police as a gesture of good faith.
It would certainly show them that we have nothing to hide.
Very well. Let's bring the subject to a vote at the council tonight.
At the very least, it seems like the church leadership didn't sanction the murders. I'll wait a bit and see if they leave. Administrative paperwork. I don't think it's safe to go back that way. I don't think it's... Wow, that's a lot of books. They have an impressive library here. Wow, that's a...
Welcome, visitor. You can drop the smoke and mirrors routine, miss.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, you do. While you may fool my younger cohorts, this old man has had dealings with your kind before. Please do me the courtesy of removing that mask. Thank you. Much better circumstances for a civil conversation, wouldn't you say?
I guess so. I was half expecting you to yell for the guards.
Luckily, I am a man who defies expectations. Special Agent, Violent Crimes Central Bureau.
Oh, it's you again. The man from the train.
Indeed. I never forget a face, but I'm afraid I didn't catch your name.
It's Agent England.
Ah, I am Vilgut. I assume you are aware of our legal status.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm not here to cause any trouble. Just trying to do my job.
Why would you cause trouble? That sounds quite unnecessary.
Well, if, let's say, you were sheltering a murderer, I would have no choice.
Good thing there are no murderers here, then, for all parties involved.
Yeah. I overheard what you said to that priest. It's clear to me that you had nothing to do with the killings.
That's a relief. With that unpleasantry taken care of, perhaps I can be of assistance.
What do you know about the murder in the workshop hall?
Not much at all. Only that a carpenter was brutally killed there in the night.
What do you know about the murder in the museum?
Only what my fellow church members have told me. that Maya Strand was stabbed to death by a mysterious killer.
What's your take on the conduit?
Oh, those heretics? Haven't heard anything of them in many years. As far as I know, they are firmly confined to the ash heap of history by now.
Some might argue with that. Your church has a violent past with them, hasn't it?
There's no denying that. We fought many battles with their kind in the youth of our movement.
And now?
Don't be absurd. They are practically eradicated, and we have been a peaceful group for decades.
What do you think about their teachings then?
Certainly dangerous doctrines if left unchecked. The conduit believes humans will create God in their image, instead of the other way around. In their folly, they forget that humans are flawed, and that their creations will inevitably inherit those flaws. The false god they aspire to create may demand sacrifices they're not prepared for.
So Leonard Dahl, one of your members, was killed yesterday.
I had a feeling your inquiry would lead us to him.
Can you think of anyone who would want him dead?
No. He was a loyal member of the church for many years. Kind of a loner, but always helpful and polite. He did have a strangeness to him, though. A look in his eyes like he was stuck in perpetual contemplation. It seemed as if he was constantly on the verge of, but never quite able to reach, some sort of profound revelation.
Any hint of a violent side to him?
No. To my knowledge, Leonard never committed any violence, nor did he express any desire to do so.
This church, EPOS, what are your teachings?
At our core, we are an Orthodox Christian church. We believe in the one true God and His only Son, Jesus Christ.
And what sets your group apart from other Christians?
Two things. The reverence of the essential humanity in each and every one of us, and our stalwart opposition to false idols. Prior to the collapse, the great flood of our time, we arose as a reaction to the disgraceful habits of that era. The widespread worship of anything and everything but God. Wealth, fame, mindless pleasure. The sickening mutilation of our bodies to the point where some were more machine than human. And the worst of all, the pursuit of AI superintelligences. False gods that humans aspired to construct for themselves. We oppose it all for the glory of our Creator and the salvation in our future.
And how do you go about preventing people from worshipping these false gods?
Not by violence, if that's what you're implying. Such things belong to the past.
So it's just a coincidence that the only armed man I've seen in Nordson was right behind your doors?
Sadly, the world is still in a state where men with guns are a necessary evil. However, no laws have been broken. We have every right to bear arms.
Do you know what kinds of books Leonard liked to read?
One book he borrowed frequently was The Kingdom of God is Within You. In fact, it still hasn't been returned. It should be among his estate.
Would you be able to say if he had any favorite quotes from that book?
No, you should ask someone who spent more time with him.
Fine, I'll do that. What kind of book is it anyway?
It's about non-violence, to summarize.
Got it. Thanks. What do you know about Carl Oscarson?
I must confess I didn't even know his name before I heard he was a murder victim.
What do you think of Gabriel?
Kurt's nephew. We only met briefly a few times.
Do you know who Katarina Berg is, the school teacher? She also calls herself Melinda.
I believe I've seen her around town with the school children, but I don't know much about her.
What do you think of Commissary Anderson?
He's no member of the church, but he's a fine man blessed with strong Christian morals. Compassionate, forgiving, and open-minded. I was good friends with his late father, and I'm glad to see that his son followed in his footsteps.
What's your opinion on Stina Ruth?
Cunning woman, that one. She's been a thorn in our side ever since she joined the town council.
Yeah? How so?
She has a penchant for political obstruction. Things like hindering our building permits or imposing unreasonable restrictions on our street preaching.
Why do you think she's been acting that way?
If I had to hazard a guess, I'd say she has some kind of grudge. Some Christian out there must have greatly angered her at some point.
What's your opinion on Maya Strand?
She was my polar opposite in almost every way. But I enjoyed the occasional late-night chess game with her in the canteen. It's fascinating how trivial activities like board games can bring such different people together. Goes without saying that I was as shocked and appalled as anyone when I learned of what happened to her.